Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Banter City. Today marks the second year anniversary of Banter City, and on this special anniversary edition, we bring you a guest who's been in this podcast before, and we're going to talk about a topic that's the hottest topic of India right now. Yes, you guessed it right. We're going to talk about CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Bill. But before I probe further into it, let me introduce you to my guest. My guest is the most needed person in this room right now, not just because he's a smart man, he's quite talented, but also it's cold everywhere in India, so it's only right we bring in Sun God. Welcome, Sun God, one more time. How you doing?
Welcome! Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. Banter City, I just wish you, it's been today, it has been 2 years, marks the anniversary of your podcast, and I must congratulate you for, taking the time for doing all this podcast on various issues and topics, and I must say, man, I'm very, very proud of you, and as I said earlier, may this podcast one day reach 100,000, not 100,000, a million subscribers, yeah. A million subscribers.
Yes, and God, thank you so much. I'm really flattered by that, and it's because of people like you who think about issues of the nation, who care about serving the society, and also take Abdul Kalam's utopian dream very seriously and work towards building the nation to reach new heights. Although the nation isn't quite what we expected it would be in 2020. So
exactly.
Okay, so without further ado, let's begin with CAA. So the Citizenship Amendment, which was earlier a bill, now has become an act.
Yeah.
This act has caused a lot of stir among the Indians, and even the politically ignorant, apolitical people have also started taking a glimpse into politics and have entered the streets with their placards and different signboards showing their support or dissent to the act. So why do you think are so many educated people opposing this act?
Yeah, firstly, I would like to tell you what the CAA is about. I guess you have covered it in the earlier question also.
Yes, but that's okay. Give me a version. Yeah.
Citizenship Amendment Bill Act is fine. It brings out the migrants. We all have a migrant issue. That is fine. I completely agree with that. And also the overpopulation, because India is around 1.4 billion people all over around India. So this migrant issue is something that we should tackle on.
Yeah.
No worries regarding that. But the bone of contention, which is to be seen, and why everybody is against it. But even some of the right wingers are also being against this act. It is only one thing. In Supreme Court, there was a quote which saying that anything arbitrary judgment is the antithesis of democracy.
Okay.
What is happening in the bill is that why they have singled out 3 countries, why not the others? And secondly, why only one particular community is being singled out, that is the Muslims.
Okay.
My counter argument is that if it was the ground on migrant issue, it's well and fine. It's absolutely well and fine. Then ban everybody. Why the Hindus will get easy citizenship, while the Christians would get easy citizenship? And then you said the Muslims, right? Then also there are other communities also.
Yes.
Like there are Uyghurs and the Muslim community of China, like the Ahmadiyas and all
yes.
that. Muslim communities are not just from from these 3 states and all. And also the kind of Tamilians are there from Sri Lanka. Tamilians are there, and all those monks. So lot of different strands they missed out. It is the same thing what I see during the demonetization. What they did was they would have loved to control the black money. So good, well and good, control the black money, like by demonetizing high notes. But then they had again introduced the 2,000 rupees ones, right? So it was completely counterproductive at the end of the day, because at the end of the day no black money was found out. So anyways, it's again a very, very flawed judgment. The reason behind is good. Like, see, I am against illegal immigration also.
Okay.
So I am a centrist in that. I am against illegal immigration. But if that would have been the case, then it should have been a uniform judgment for all. One country, one nation, one state, one law. Like, our prime minister does so much of, oneness.
Yes.
I think this should have been done. It should be one country, one uniform code. Like, if no migrants should get easy citizenship. Number one. And number two, why the educated youth are being like so much, they are against it? Because right now the pressing issues are, number one, unemployment.
Okay.
The unemployment rate is at the highest. It's like 9% right now, currently.
Okay.
The current figures say.
Yeah.
So I believe, right, basically everybody was against the economy before this act came into being. And suddenly another landmark judgment was passed during the midnight. So this would again anger a lot of youth because they're seeing that, अरे यार हम लोग का issues resolve नहीं हो रहा है. The issues of mine are not being resolved.
Okay.
Why again another landmark judgment like this? So So, it is not only against CAA and CAB, it is like a lot much pressure again for the youth, which has been like simmering up. And then this was just one act which the anger just toppled over. And that is why, all this animosity, this anger is being directed.
Unleashed upon the government. Okay, so as you stated, yes, this act does look a bit arbitrary compared to most other amendments. And one more thing, as you later highlighted, is that amidst all this economic slowdown, what is the point of coming up with this act when the country's GDP rate has...
It's at an all-time low.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct. Okay, so... usually people have assumed me as pro-CAA. Well, I'm not, you could say I lean a bit towards pro-CAA, but I don't completely agree with the act as well. But let me try to counter your argument about the arbitrary choosing of those three Islamic countries. So I believe the idea is that these three countries, which are our neighbors, Afghanistan is a distant neighbor. So these three countries have Islam as their state religion. Although I'm not sure about Bangladesh and Afghanistan, but I did read something about the law books of Pakistan, and I came to understand that Pakistan does advocate secularism and religious freedom, but they have blasphemy laws. That's one thing. And also, things were not always, heyday in Pakistan. Only after 2000, 2004, things got better for other religious people, other religious minorities. So in Pakistan, we have 98% Muslims and only 2% people belong to other religions. And even among these two people, there were ruling parties in the past, sometime around 1970s and 80s. And even in the early 90s, there were parties which were proposing acts which were starkly in favor of the Muslim community and discriminating against the Hindu community. So if you look at the current scenario, things are much better. But during such times, can you imagine how much discrimination and persecution would have happened against these minority religious communities? So during such times, so many people would have fled Pakistan or, suffered, and I don't want to go into the details of how worse things could have been. But so yes, these people could have migrated to India at such times, and they might not have applied for citizenship or any other national, affidavit, or national, something that domiciles them as an Indian. So they must be living pretty much as an illegal immigrant. So don't you think such act then this act caters to such people, and it's kind of like showing compassion to such people. I know that we are having so many problems, and these people still are part of the problems. This act is not bringing in foreigners from outside India. They are just sorting out the grain from the husk, and keeping the population which lived in India before 2014, and only the 2% minorities which were persecuted. Now this 2% number comes only for Pakistan. I'm not sure about Afghanistan and Bangladesh, but certainly Muslims dominate in number. So what do you think? This does seem fair when you look from this angle, doesn't it?
Well, again, I'm telling you to see the cutoff date. The cutoff date is around like these people should be getting citizenship. They have reached before December 31st, 2014. Like the people who have come to India. Okay. Like what is this bill about? It is just reducing the sentence from 11 years to 5 years. Like by 11 years you become a natural citizen, and to get this thing you just need to be like 5 years in the country to get the citizenship.
Okay.
Well, for me is the entire timing of the issue. The entire timing.
Okay.
See, what the present government, the majority government has labeled Mamta Di, the West Bengal Chief Minister.
Yeah.
Like, that it is kind of, what does she do? Like, she gives
politics.
Refugees. She gives refugee to those Muslim immigrants, so that, these people will give the vote. In a very similar logical way, he is also trying to do the same thing. Like, once they get the Hindu people, like the Hindu immigrants from these three outside countries into they get the citizenship. So automatically these outside migrants, they become his citizens, and they will automatically provide him the votes for the next elections. And see, 2019 has already come. So there are a number of state elections, one by one after the another, one after the another.
Right.
So what he has done is something which he and his entire government was against, Mamata Banerjee. That whatever she was doing, even what she had did in a state level, he is doing it in a national level. That's it. And why is this arbitrary? Because it is the entire timing of the issue. Just because 2014, now 5 years has already passed. Like, so a number of Hindu immigrants will become illegal immigrants, will become naturalized. And then that why this is a problem, because in northeastern states, there a number of illegal Hindu immigrants are there. So can you imagine what will happen to the northeastern states, because there are such a number of illegal Hindu immigrants, they will take all over their jobs, their resources and so on, because they are getting instant citizenship after 2019. So,
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So I believe this bill, in a way, it does not give any time, just like the demonetization. It's again another surgical strike. And basically this surgical strike is on the citizens itself. Because day and night, suddenly a illegal Hindu becomes a legal one. Like why should you, do you give even a room to your security guard or like somebody whom you don't know? Strangers to your place, you don't, right? You need time to be with that person. You need time to understand him. That is why this 11 years thing is there to basically to acclimatize oneself to the entire situation and the condition. So, see, once the constitution was written, it was written with a very, it's a very, deliberate way of writing the constitution. Like, why 11 years was given? So that a person coming from a different nation can get acclimatized to that conditions and, things in that country's fashion. Like I was applying for Canada and the US, Canada especially. You can't even know that, how much restrictions are there. Like, you need to be this much educated first. Like, your religion doesn't matter. Over there, what kind of education qualification is. So that itself is a great filter, and then you need to pass the standardized tests and all that. Like, if you want to make a uniform citizenship code, then make it on merit base, make it on something, which you have to prove that you're an Indian first, Why Hindu? Why Muslim? Prove that you are an Indian first. Just like over there, I have to prove myself that okay, I am that like I want to become a Canadian, you know, I want to become a US citizen.
Okay.
Like, you know, I have to answer questions regarding their culture, their activities and so on. And it's such a difficult process. Like, why not here? When the population is so much, it's like 1.42 billion. We cannot feed our own population, and then we are trying to be what, like, you know, good to other people. No, it is absolutely wrong. This is completely politicized, and it's been so like it's like it is openly being shown that okay, like we are targeting these people because they know that they will be amongst the vote banks, because to make the India a Hindu nation and Hindu Rashtra and so on, the usual rhetoric, as you know.
Okay.
But my counter argument
just a moment. So you're saying that they're going to use up our resources, they're going to take up our jobs and other things, and given that we're already 1.3 billion, it's going to be...
especially in northeastern states, like in Assam and all that.
Okay. Yes, that's a valid point, but aren't they already part of us, like these illegal immigrants? If the ones whom we're planning to give citizenship to, they've already been living here. I mean, unless they've lived here for at least 5 years, we're not going to give them. So aren't they already consuming our resources and being, you know, occupying our land and so on? So, I mean, I'm not sure how exactly you, yeah.
As a citizen of Canada, like if I was an illegal immigrant of Canada, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten those white collar jobs. I would have had to go for those migrant laborers and, you know, those kind of jobs.
Okay.
I wouldn't have got those white collar good jobs and all that. So over there, your education factors, you know, they all come into the picture. So I'm not against immigrants as such, but I think all immigrants should be under one uniform penal code. Kino, everybody should get that 11 years. Like, man, you need to stay in a country for 11 years and it's fine. Like, it is like open to all. Like, can you imagine like you know, your friend is a Muslim but you are a Hindu, both are illegal immigrants, right? And
okay.
then suddenly the next day,
yeah.
you are getting a white collar job while your friend, you know,
someone's getting his ass kicked. Yeah, that seems very unfair. You know, given both are coming together and someone's left behind.
Yeah, and thirdly, the kind of animosity which it creates among the Muslim people, because after all, India is not based on Muslim and Hindu and all that. Ours was a secular state. So if the Muslims, you know, because they are feeling so much, they are being segregated, right? They are feeling segregated. Their own friends are being segregated and all. Like, you know, like I have a Hindu friend, I have a Muslim friend.
Okay.
Finally, my Hindu friend gets a job, but my Muslim friend does not. So this will again is a very, very potent, I would say, a breeding ground for again a big riot or a big thing which is going to come.
Yes.
You know, Samuel Huntington, he was one of the greatest political advisors. So one quote he said that after the World War, like which was between US and Russia, the war will be fought on cultural and religious lines. And that is what is happening. The next World War will be fought on cultural and religious lines. What the earlier war was fought on imperialism. The earlier wars was fought on resources. The earlier war was fought on, you know, kind of revenge for the World War I defeat of Germany.
Yes.
But the next war will be fought on cultural and religious divide. And that is what is happening all around the world also.
And even World War II was kind of a cultural, you know, outlash against the Jews.
It was, but it was only in Germany. But right now, if you see, there is a kind of thing in all over the world that is happening now. Like there is an emergence of very authoritative right-wing governments all around. Like if you see in Syria, if you see in Brazil, if you see in India, and even in the US also, you know.
Yeah.
Between the same thing, you know, the blacks and the whites, the KKK, which is the Ku Klux
Klan, yes, the white supremacists.
Yeah, the white supremacists. So, you know, this is something which has been happening, and the thing is that I was seeing just a recent series, you know, the Messiah. The Messiah in the Netflix series, it is basically on the second coming of the Jesus Christ.
Oh,
okay. So what I believe is, like, due to all these pressures and all, there will be again this one kind of demigod figure which will again crop up, and then it will be like the same case as Hitler and, you know, as a Stalin or you say Mussolini and all. Like we will all go for him because he is being the harbinger for our nation state and all. But this shouldn't be, right? We are going past, like we are going way before. We should be focusing on AI, like what did, as you said, when you introduced me, like what did APJ Kalam say? That we're focusing on space and technology.
Yeah.
Right now, this is the decade of AI, artificial intelligence, and the second, machine learning and all that.
Right.
US and China are far ahead of us. We can never keep up with their economy because they're focusing their resources completely on AI and this digital revolution.
Yes.
And then what are we doing? We are 4G, we are just watching videos on YouTube. There is nothing more innovative which is coming out.
Yeah. And even they have companies, private companies, which are really high ideals and are looking towards creating breakthrough technologies, like very research oriented.
Very much, very much. I think that our war should not be focused on a religious one. Our war should be on the digital data, digital revolution, because that is where the power is. The world will move far ahead, and we will only be squibbling about this Hindu-Muslim forever. We should be going far ahead out of this. Get to know, okay, economy kharab hai, so what kind of other jobs, alternate jobs we can think about? Why not a discussion about, why not a bill on that, alternative jobs bill,
Yeah, I think the government is very keen on, trying to fix things and allocating so many crores to this sector and that sector, but not really thinking in terms of an out-of-the-box solution.
No, they're not visionary. One thing for sure, they're not visionary. They're 10 years politicians.
Yeah.
What is the need of the time is a time of visionary leaders. Even see, Atal Bihari Vajpayee also came at a time where the political turmoil was at its behest. Like I'm talking about the former BJP. Not this one.
Okay.
But he had a vision of this building the golden quadrilateral, kind of
Yeah,
roads,
the highway.
the highways and all that. And because of him, like we have so much well-connected roadways and highways now. Like bring some like revolutionary change. Why building statues? What will happen in building statues and all? Build the entire educational institution or a hospital for that. Because see, one counter argument is there will be more of people going over there and economy will grow. But then it is for the Mukfali sellers and all.
Yeah.
Why not a proper industry for the blue collar workers?
Right. He could have done something more fundamental rather than just building statues, which
Piecemeal.
people just click pictures to.
And these are all piecemeal thing, for the. When I am like I myself voted for this government in 2014, right?
Okay.
So it was kind of when I see it and because I thought he will bring about the same changes which our Vajpayee had brought about.
Okay.
But then he did not. He went completely 180 degree and in the same state of mind as 2002, the Gujarat thing one. So. It's very, very difficult right now to have a very optimistic view on the future. If you think like this and not like a visionary, because after all, when you are the Prime Minister, you should think like a visionary and much far ahead in life. That's what I believe.
Okay. Yes, I agree. But given sure, visionary thinking could have saved us maybe a year or two ago.
Another thing.
Yeah.
One bill which would have really helped us is the population control bill. I know people are rumoring and all that, but I think that should have been brought about much, much sooner.
And that was, and that was very put in a very laid back fashion. Nobody really gave a damn about it.
Yeah. And then, if the Muslims would have protested against this, like I would have said, let them protest. Because it is going to hamper all of us, the Hindus, the Muslims,
certainly,
everybody.
Yes.
That would have been a good bill because, see, at the end of the day, what happened? In the past 40 years, where was China? Where was for 50 years back? Where the hell was China? China is now second largest economy just because the resources they have controlled for the past 50 years. They have controlled the people, the consumers. Our main problem is our consumers are more and our area is small.
Yeah.
China at least has like three Indias can fit over in China. And then also within the next 4 years we're going to surpass China in population. So that is a huge issue, this population thing. Like talk about migrants. Like I would say ban illegal migrants, make every migrant be naturalized, like stay 11 years, and bring a proper population control bill, which was done during emergency time, because that is the high time, and give benefits to the child-free people. That would have been really good.
Yeah, then that's a good incentive so that people adopt that kind of lifestyle more, and certainly people would benefit the economy if people start having less children. Not just the economy, but also the planet itself.
Planet itself, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Because if you see once you have less of a child, how much ever you go vegan, 58.6 million tons you will do lesser if you bring one less child into this world. But if you are just a vegan, which is so much in fashion, it is only 2.1 million tons if you're just a vegan. And then if you are only carb free, then you are only 0.17 or 0.1, like this.
Yeah.
But by the way, then there's so much of thrust of being a vegan, and so much of thrust of being a kind of building electric cars and all. Like, okay, that's all well and good. Like, but the fundamental change should be there. Yeah, bring less consumers. And why people are not bringing less consumers? Because it would mean less votes for the people. Less of consumers would harm the economic profitability of these big corporates.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That is so that fundamental bills are not coming in, and all these incendiary bills are coming. Incendiary, it can stoke fire among the people. And people are scurrying over all the wrong matters. The youth of the country, they are like protesting. What the youth of US and China, they're like focusing on artificial intelligence. Like we are like doing what, like Hindu, Muslim, and Nara and all that.
Yeah.
They completely, the narrative has completely changed now. Rather than focus on development and all, it has gone to the basic level of, citizenship.
Yeah, it's become communal. We just thought that after this Ram Mandir epic judgment, everything would be pacified, but unfortunately there's something else has come up to stir chaos again, and the people. Okay, so back to the argument which you said, the Narendra Modi government made this move following Mamata Banerjee's move in West Bengal. This is something that I kind of agree with, but again, every move that any government makes is an attempt to win people over. But yes, this is more of an exclusive population, a vote bank that can sustain them in the north, they believe. And one more thing that I felt you missed was that the people who are going to get citizenship are getting it only on the grounds of religious prosecution. So they cannot migrate for any other reasons. I know you'd say that they could, fake it as religious prosecution just because I'm a Hindu, even if he's well off. Yes, that things can happen. And another reason why most people seem to be opposing this act is that it endangers the secular spirit of the country. While it does look like saving grace for the immigrants from minority religions, but if you look at it from a third person perspective,
right.
Yeah, it is the discrimination is obvious, but so, and also the worst part about everything that's happened in the past 3 weeks is the amount of misinformation. Now you're a sane person who's read things and you're acknowledging that it's 11 years for normal citizens. But, when I come across in Facebook comments or online posts or memes, they just say 1971. They confuse the hell over Assam NRC. And even though there's no NRC that's been drafted, they peddle so much misinformation that is, making people go mad over. I agree that if I were a Muslim, I'd definitely going crazy over such rumors if I believed them.
Exactly. There is a lot of panic mongering and fear mongering, but I would solely blame this on the central government itself. Because if you see the interviews of the Amit Shah, the Home Ministry, and Mr. Modi, there have been very contrarian views against it. Like, NRC, suddenly Modi just said, like, in a kind of a big lie fashion of like Hitler,
Yeah.
there is no countrywide debate on NRC, whereas the Home Minister has himself said the word NRC 7 to 8 times during debates and
Yes,
interviews.
I remember.
So, like, there should have been, and there should have been a kind of a great kind of thing, and then suddenly, like, citizenship, like, I have an Aadhaar card, I have a PAN card and all that, but that will not prove my citizenship. Like, I will have to bring documents regarding my grandparents and, whatever, my parents. Like, why these dates and years? Just bring the Aadhaar card, get your name in the voter list, I'm a citizen.
Yeah.
What, like, these are the two grounds. Get an Aadhaar card, get a voter ID. If you have it, you're a citizen. If you're not, okay. Let's see for other forms of things. Like because see, I am from Calcutta. I have to come to Pune for work, right?
Yeah.
Then, like, what do you have to show? Like, I have to show my Aadhaar card and voter card. Will that work? Like, there is no clarity of answers. The Home Minister said that no, Aadhaar card bilkul bhi nahi hai. वो ठीक तरह नहीं है, for a citizenship. Then why the 7 years back we had to go and stand in line?
That is
like
true.
I remember I took an entire day off. I had school during that time for that Aadhaar card.
Yeah, I remember I was in junior college and I had to rush to my college to attend my practicals after getting this thing done. So it was really, government is thinking one thing one day and then implementing it. It's like, it's a bit childish, to be honest.
Exactly. Too many things. Like in 2019, they have done too many things at one go. Like from triple talaq to 370 to this, that, CAB, NRC, too many major judgments. This Ram Mandir thing. Give time to settle down. The economy will anyway flounder because you're not giving any time to settle on the sentiments.
Yeah.
At the end of the economy is what? Economy is a behavioral spending of the people.
Right.
Once a consumer thinks now things are not stable, I will not spend.
Yes, that's a beautiful point. Economy is the behavioral spending of people.
That is what the behavioral spending. If you are in always panic mode and all, like, you will go into the very scarcity and poverty mindset. Because I don't know what the future will bring for me.
Yeah.
There are so many things now. If you remember demonetization, the second day people, like, there was a kind of fear I never felt before. My notes in my wallet, I had 500,000 rupees notes. They're all useless. The feeling of that gave me a lot of insecurity during that time, because I used to get some little pocket money from my father, and I was wanting to buy a mobile phone during that time, and I remember the kind of this scarcity mindset, this poverty mindset, which had gripped me because of this panic and fear and all that. And once fear and panic sets in, you cannot spend, and once spending is stopped, economy goes on a downturn.
Yeah.
Simple economic.
I agree.
And yes, people will spend on match. People will spend on this porn and movies, because that is a way to distract people. That is how we distract ourselves. If you read The Poor Economics by Dr. Abhijit Banerjee, people may be poor, but they still spend so much on marriage and buying a TV, buying a color TV, LED TV, and so on, because that is the only way to distract themselves from the reality of life. That is why they go and spend on these kind of things. But they will not spend on a good gadget. They will not spend on bed, essential items, go for a haircut and all that.
Yeah, like I think.
Or a car, or a bike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Karl Marx. He said religion is the opium of the masses. Now you can add entertainment and other things too. Something along the entertainment sector. All these things.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you see, every spending has gone down except the entertainment sector. They have remained stagnant, because people want to watch more movies and all that. If you see, War got 400 crores plus.
Yeah.
This Joker got more than 100 crore, right? Though it was an adult movie in English.
Right.
And Avengers also more than 200 crore. It was the first English movie to garner more than 200 crore in India.
Okay. Well, I completely keep myself aloof from this movie industry. So thanks for the information, though. It's good to know information.
Yeah, I'm just saying how this behavioral spending and pattern very much depends on the policies and the way policies are framed in the government. Because whatever we see in the government, we tend to do that only. Once this fear and panic sets in,
Yeah.
like a lot of things, like people should just calm down, calm the tits down, as we say in the American parlance, calm down. Just relax, let time take it slow, let the economy take it slow, focus more on the economy and rest of this cultural and all the citizenship bullshit. Get the main bill done, which is, I believe, then the kind of procreation bill,
Yeah.
Get it done first.
Yeah, I mean, I know so many people who are behind that bill, not just you, Sun God. So hopefully they should do, just like Modi and Raga are living as, without procreating. They should really look at themselves and do something.
They should really market themselves. Ki dekho, bhai and behno, I am a child free. You also be child free. Make it like that. Why say I'm a fakir, you be a fakir? We don't want to be a fakir poor guy.
Yeah.
We want to be rich guy. We also want to wear those 10 lakh suits and wear those sunglasses which I guess Modi recently had.
Yeah.
For
the solar eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to be child free as well as rich as Modi, Get all those things, like say them, yeah, like if you're child free, you're gonna be like me, wearing the good clothes, having the good life,
Yeah.
and going to so many places outside India.
Yeah, he could really promote that lifestyle.
Promote that lifestyle, yeah, promote it, man. Half of the problems will be solved with less number of consumers in the future.
Right. Okay, so one thing I've been hearing a lot these days is the status of Delhi. So I hear from my friends that AAP has done a lot of good things in Delhi, right from education to healthcare, and all such basic things have been built up really well in Delhi.
Right. Well, that is what happens. If you bring an educated IIT onto the fore, and that is what happens that is where the education counts. Where these are the issues where we must focus on.
Yeah.
But if Delhi is doing well because it has got a really educated chief minister at the helm of things. Yeah, he might have done some mistakes in the process, but then the goodwill that he has earned from the Delhi people is huge. And I say Delhi is on the path of progress. Only the pollution one is a bit of a problem because it comes from Punjab and Haryana. But then also it'll be okay. Like Delhi is on the path of progress.
Yeah.
Because after all, there also Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore. These three places are going to be screwed. Especially Mumbai, I know you're in that place, because overpopulation and global warming. Because if you know, Mumbai, it is standing on very thin ground. Okay, like rather than building any structures and all, they should really make those drain line pipes and all that right. Because during the monsoon, it creates a lot of havoc in Mumbai.
Yes, I agree. And they're digging
for Delhi and Bangalore,
Yeah, and they're digging the whole Mumbai up in the working for the metro project, and that's been happening for 6-7 years now.
6-7 years. Like, man, I really bring educated people, man, on the line. Like, don't do all these things. Like, too much of development leads to one's destruction only.
Yeah, urbanization, correct. Urbanization, needless urbanization, you could say.
And there are so many states because of less urbanization. I just feel, if they could have get the fruits of labor, then, they would have been better. Like, it's only three places I see: Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi. These three places.
Okay.
It is very unequal to the other states.
Yeah.
And, if I would say half of the industries go to UP and, Uttar Pradesh is like it will take another podcast, the ills and problems of UP. The basic education level is not being, properly groomed.
Okay, so Yogi is not doing a good job, you're saying?
Yogi, what job he has done? He has just divided the state more and more.
He's only changing the names of people and places.
Yeah. And I believe like he will do like Mamta Didi even, like changing, like, wanting to change the name of Calcutta to London. So he might have also do that, UP to London.
Did she really wanted to change it?
No, she did not change it, but it was one of the slogans, like he will do like Calcutta to London. But then you see, I'm a resident of Calcutta myself.
Okay.
And I really liked it. Like, once I went to Calcutta and all, it was some of the things which you did was really nice and all. But then, see, industry is not happening. No, over there industrialization is a bit less. So I believe if she could focus more on that, then we would not have left Calcutta. I would have loved to stay there only.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I mean, nobody wants to leave your hometown. Hometown is the best place to be.
You're from Chennai, right?
Yes, I'm from Tamil Nadu. Yeah.
You had to come to the financial capital of India
right.
for better, a better life.
Opportunities, correct. Yeah. So apart from the economic objections that you've laid down earlier, do you have any other objections against CAA? Because we've discussed mainly on the economic part so far. So is there any other objections against CAA and the current?
I would say, when I see the kind of another point which you feel like is was the secularism part that I completely missed out. Because I think that is also a lot of people are doing like it's against.
Yes.
It's like against the secular nature of the constitution and all.
Okay, but
I see things from a very pragmatic perspective. Like, I believe it should be a single uniform code for all people.
Okay.
If it is 11 years, it should not be less. It should be 11 years for all. And because anybody can fake out, as you said, the religious persecutions and all that, and your own friends whom you have come in 2014, your friend is getting citizenship and you're not. So other than that, what? Other than Tamils from Sri Lanka. What about them? You've forgotten them completely.
Yes, but I think the targeted nations have been the Islamic ones, the ones who have state religion of Islam. So maybe that's why they left out Sri Lanka.
Well, again, it's arbitrary.
Yeah, it's arbitrary.
There are so many, Islamic nations are there. Then why only leave to Afghanistan?
Okay, since you're talking about something called arbitrary, let me take you back to the moment when we created reservation systems. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar created the reservation systems for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward castes. So even that was arbitrary. Don't you agree?
I would have to disagree with you on that point, because why was that done? It was kind of a payback time for the general castes.
Okay.
See, because the general
can't we say that this is also a payback for the persecuted minorities which did not get proper treatment in those countries? It's just 5 years is not even that great of a time. It's just a concession. You could consider it.
See, once you bring all the Hindus and persecute all the Muslims, right? Then who will again get benefited? The caste system will only. Then our Hindus have a way of dividing ourselves. We will be a kind of Kshatriya or Shudra and all that. But why did I say payback? It is because to undo the wrongs.
Okay.
Over the past 500 years, so that we are the generation we are suffering. But yes, it had a cut-off date. If you remember, this reservation thing had a cut-off date.
Okay.
Right?
When was the cut-off date?
It was in 1980, because they wanted one generation to be more benefited than the others.
Okay.
It had a cut-off date. And then what happened was the Mandal Commission or something like that, which happened in 1990, which had indefinitely, it had, postponed the cut-off date.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I believe reservation was a good payback. But right now, in present 2020, it should have been scrapped. I really believe that. Because for 1 or 2 generations, it is okay.
Yeah.
But for the third generation to suffer for that, I don't think that's a good way.
Okay.
I believe whatever thing was done during the constitution time was excellent.
Okay.
Because everything was done on the basis of a cut-off date and all that. There was a process, but then the later governments which came, which means the Janata Dal or the Congress or whatever, they just did not think forward.
Okay.
And that is why we are all suffering.
Okay.
Basically, reservation, I had blatantly agreed. But then also, if you remove reservation, then this entire stigma should also be removed, right? Like, why, as Hindus, we cannot marry someone who is a Shudra? Why do we have second thoughts about it? Then again, there should have been a complete kind of education, like the Manusmriti which was there, Manusmriti, we should have an anti-Manusmriti, which never did happen in our schools, na.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think in
And that is
cities
another
like
complex
Mumbai.
issue which will again take another podcast also. That is a very complex issue.
Yes, but trust me, apart from the Brahmins, I don't think anybody refers to Manusmriti in this. Bhagavad Gita is something most people look up to. And if you look at cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, all these big cities in India, I don't think they give a damn about caste system. Maybe, parents of millennials might still have these issues lingering on their minds, but as a millennial, as someone who's grown up...
We are urbanized, we don't think about, but
Yes.
I'm just thinking about, what about UP, man? The entire state is like steeped on this kind of, Like
Yeah.
I remember I was posted once in Uttarakhand.
Okay.
First question they asked me was not about what is my name.
Oh.
First question was asking, आप कौन से जात का हो?
Yeah, I mean, even if I visit my hometown, some random person, stranger, if I start talking to someone, they'll definitely ask me my jat. No. Yeah.
How do you re-educate and redo it? Like that would have again taken one generation at least. See, all it takes is one generation, I believe, for the entire thing to change, this mindset to change. This, like if in one generation a person grows up to class 12 and does college and everything in a proper fashion, then he can completely, uplift his family from poverty to on a middle class level.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, this societal beliefs and all that, this can be uprooted with one generation studying all these things. But where are these things being taught? Like, it's basic thing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, these things, well, we do learn them in school.
No. It was only secularism about religions. We did not learn secularism about castes much.
Okay, I will agree that. But, we learn about people like, people who stood up against caste system. I think the Britishers were the ones who completely, uprooted it. Not much of our local reformers, as far as I can think. But some of them did stand up against it, but nothing really substantiated. Okay, so moving further, we talked about the reservation system, and it had a cutoff date which got indefinitely pushed. Okay, all that apart. So suppose if some person is an atheist and moves from Pakistan or Afghanistan or Bangladesh and illegally migrates to India, what happens to him? He's fucked forever.
I think you brought out a wonderful point,
Yeah.
I have completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Definitely, That is one question that the government should have thought about. What about them? Like, it is like you're born into a religion and you're screwed up for life.
Yeah.
You can't even change it.
Right, and in those countries there are strict blasphemy laws, so he can't even run his mouth there. So he's got nowhere to go.
Very true, very true. Yeah. See, that is the thing, na? Like this bill was again tabled by very few coterie of people, just like demonetization, without these thoughts coming into the picture. Just like we are having these thoughts, you brought about this point. If we don't have this discussion, then how the hell am I going to bring this thing when I file this thing? If I don't bring this point, what Raghuram Rajan has said is one thing very right. Key, we have a lot of centralization in our decision making.
Okay.
In our decision making, there is only one or two or a few people who are making the decisions.
Yeah,
but
and
this point about atheists, nobody is talking about it. Very few people are talking about it. It has completely slipped from my mind. What about them? Very true.
Yeah.
So like if you don't have religion, you'll get fucked.
Yeah.
Like that is why I believe a Canadian system is good. You get a merit-based thing. We don't want stupid freeloaders into the country. We don't want any freeloaders. If you've got some basic intelligence and if you can provide some kind of help to us, whether it is manufacturing, skill-based, education-based, teacher-based, whatever, you must prove your thing. What can you give to the nation? Forget about your religion. Doesn't matter. And you get your citizenship based on your merit basis. So basically, this reservation and CAD is very similar only. Like one is based on religion, one is based on caste.
Right. Okay. And when I started reading about this act, initially I kind of agreed with it. I mean, I still agree with parts of it, because if you look at the complete picture, you see on one side we have, like I said in my previous YouTube video, the glass is half full on one side, and on the other side it's half empty. So it really depends on how you look at it. Some people are getting a boon, while others are not affected negatively. Okay, it's
Right.
neutral for the others, but they think it's a completely sentimental argument. And even when you said that secularism is being compromised, well, I would not say it is constitutional, because Article 15 of the Constitution is what speaks about secularism, and it's very clear that the secularism that is described in that article gives
distribution based on race,
yes,
creed, religion, all
yes,
that.
and everybody gets the freedom to practice their religion. So it applies to citizens, and I don't think it applies to non-citizens, or it doesn't provide the gateway to citizenship. But yes, from a sentimental point of view, as Indians, as India, who's always been known as a secular country, as a country whose policies regarding such matters have often, with regards to tolerance and other qualities, have often been looked upon in international standards, it does do some reputational damage to our nation.
Right. It has. Like if you see in the BBC and all that, we have been tarnished by the media. It's been we have been now calling the second calling of Syria. Some of the international newspapers.
Okay.
That is how they are referring, because of seeing the protests, and some of the funny part is that if you see the UP police, they are like banging against the buses like for their own joy.
Okay, so good that you brought up this topic, because one of my friends who's Muslim, who's sent me clips of UP police doing atrocious acts, and it turns out that these people do not have badges on their police attire, and it turns out one of them told me that some of them are just RSS workers who are pretending to be policemen and attacking innocent Islamic people.
Then see, like
that's a rumor.
It's very crystal clear.
Yeah. Okay. So
is it too many rumors, too many these things, like it is like. But one thing for sure, it's arbitrary, and anything which is arbitrary is antithesis to the democracy. Like I think we should all think of this as a Supreme Court judgment. That I think these things should have been a uniform one, a well discussed one.
Okay.
And if you remove immigrants, remove not. Every person should get citizenship according to their merit only, not according to their religion or where they're born and all that. I believe that should be a uniform code of conduct.
Okay, so given if the citizenship law, say, gets amended tomorrow to, every persecuted religious person gets citizenship, even the Ahmadis and the Shias from Pakistan, would you accept it? For 5 years, suppose if it was for 5 years, would you accept it?
For 5 years, I won't. No.
Okay.
Because that is, again going like, they're not Indian enough.
Okay.
These people are not Indian enough. I don't care if they're Hindus or Muslims or, whatever.
Okay.
They're not Indian enough. No 5 years. They would have to stay in India for 11 years, get completely used to whatever is happening in India, and then they would get.
Okay.
Like that is equality. You should be extremely rational while framing laws.
Yes, I agree. And you've constantly.
It is a form of irrationality I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that there is irrationality in framing this citizenship bill. And that has been clearly being shown that this irrationality and this hurriedness. It's a citizenship bill after all. Man, you are considered an Indian citizen. It's a huge thing.
Yes, that's correct.
You should get the privilege. You should, if you want to get that privilege, you should be able to stay in the States as an immigrant for 11 years. Just like we all do. Once we go to Canada and all that, so it takes a requisite amount of years to stay in that state before you get that green card or like whatever card they give.
Okay. Okay, so suppose if you were the person who's in charge of making a citizenship amendment law, how differently could have you made it? If not,
I would not have amended the law only.
Okay,
firstly, I would have focused on making a Procreation Bill Act. I would.
Sure.
That is the bill which I would have loved to do. I would have left this bill as it is, not even touch it. It's sacred.
Okay, since you're claiming that the existing classification is completely arbitrary, what other kind of classification would you bring in that would be completely rational just a hypothetical question before we wrap up with this, because we've discussed a lot and it's good that we've kept the views open as possible so that our viewers can pick on whatever they resonate with and nibble at it. We haven't, stuck on any view, so it's good. So go on. What kind of rational framework would you bring in?
You want to say what kind of rational bills that I could bring?
Rational amendment to the existing citizenship that you think, because you're accusing it of being arbitrary, right? So I'm interested.
For the citizenship bill?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say firstly, I wouldn't have touched the bill because I think 11 is a good enough thing.
Yeah. And
one thing I would have done is, like, if you see immigrants is a big problem, then cut down the number of immigrants. Like, make it, if it's like, because I do not know the exact numbers.
Okay.
So I believe then reduce it by 50% less immigrants, which is being done by all the developed nations. Every year, US and Canada accepts less and less number of citizens every year. So I think that would have been a step to cut down on the total number of citizens whom you are giving citizenship to. That would have been a very good option.
Okay.
Like, reduce it by 50%. If you are of the nation, you as a mother, you cannot provide for your own children, and then you are trying to provide for your strangers. Whom are you giving problems to? You're giving problems to yourself only.
Yeah.
It's like the same. If you see in an aeroplane also,
right.
What is the first message is given? Like, firstly, you put your own oxygen mask first, and then you put it on your children.
Correct.
So you first get your population numbers right, and then if that entails you need to reduce the immigration numbers drastically, do that. Like, no worries at all. Firstly, get the population figures right, because it's a very small country we live in, and so many people are living in these states and all.
Yeah.
Like even I believe immigration should be done in such a way like, I'm not talking a very contentious thing. Like, there should be prohibition in like immigrating to like these states, like, these metro cities, like, Mumbai.
Okay.
Pune. I'm a migrant myself. Pune.
Okay.
Because we are putting unnecessary pressure to these states. So, like those companies will be forced to open satellite offices at these non-metro cities. So Goldman and Sachs, like, their head office is in Mumbai. There are so many 10,000 employees working there.
Yeah.
And why not open an office at say, Uttar Pradesh? So Uttar Pradesh people will also get benefited.
Right. Maybe.
Why only you want to attract the best talent in one state and putting all the pressure on that one state?
Yeah, maybe they are looking at the standard of living and other.
That is what. If you're thinking of infinite return on a finite planet, you're bound to get screwed. It's not an infinite planet we're living on. It has got a finite planet with finite resources.
Yeah,
we should be thinking like a visionary,
Yeah, but that's what capitalism is all about, right? You could do anything when you have money. So these corporations who have a lot of money, they can open their franchises anywhere. Regardless capitalism is the best system. If you read True Capitalism, there was this also Netflix, Saving Capitalism. There was a series. Okay. In True Capitalism. Was it a documentary or a series?
It's a documentary. It's a movie of 1 hour or 1.5 hours, Saving Capitalism.
Yeah, I'll check
what
that out.
What we have now currently is a very broken capitalism. We do not have true capitalism. True capitalism is that everyone wins, whether it's the workers or these people or the ones or in control of the capital, everyone should win because there is an optimal usage of resources. That is a supply chain management. It is such a primary instance in capitalism. The supply chain is so optimized. What we have is our supply chain is not at all optimized. There is too much of this supply and less of a demand. Once this is happening, it is not a perfect market, you know.
Yeah, any real market will have its frictions and imperfections which will hinder it from reaching its optimum potential. Yeah.
What we have is a very broken down, and in India, so it's like, firstly, India is screwed up with this mixed economy, like it was partly socialist and partly capitalist.
Yes, Nehruvian.
So that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. But I cannot blame Nehru for everything, just like a present government does.
Okay.
At that point of time, it kind of made sense because we were completely a third world nation at that time.
Yeah.
So at that point, it made sense. But once you reach 1990s, globalization and all that, then why keep socialism?
Right. Yeah.
Even in this government also, this Modi government is also partly socialist. Like they are putting more tax on the corporates. Why so? Why putting stop on the animalistic instincts of the market? They're again putting stoppage just to satisfy the poor. You know. They are doing this.
But they slashed it, right? Corporate tax cuts.
Yeah, it should not be slashed.
Okay.
No, it has slashed. Yeah. I think. So, but then it's too late, na?
Yeah.
Let's see how it happens.
Okay, sure. So during the past 1 hour, we've talked a lot of topics, and I'm sure this is probably the most insightful podcast among all of my other podcasts because we've explored a lot of different themes: social, political, economical, and so on. So thank you very much, Sun God, for spending your precious time in this podcast. I'm sure all of our viewers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is my own pleasure also to talk to you. You are also a very open-minded guy to listen to me and rather than fighting and squabbling over issues. So if like all of us would have been like us, like sitting under one table and considering each other's opinions, we would get so much from each other, understand the real true self. And as you said, we have kept it open to every kind of opinion.
Yes.
There is hard and fast rules,
Correct.
Like firstly, rationality should be the main moot point of every issue. There shouldn't be any sentimentality, shouldn't be any religion.
Yeah.
Absolutely be rational about what is happening in the planet. I think thereby we can, succeed well as a nation, as a country, and as a world.
Yes, and just like you said, capitalism is watered down. Democracy is also getting watered down in India, bit by bit.
True.
Okay, I'll let you have a good night's sleep for tonight. So the New Year day is off, and we're back to our normal lives. And good luck for this year. Hope you make a lot of progress in your professional career and also in your personal life. You find happiness.
Thank you so much, Banter City.
All right.
A very happy New Year to you and your family too. Enjoy the day.
Yes.
Enjoy the
Thank
year.
you so much.
Enjoy the decade.
It was a real pleasure talking to you. As always, signing off is Banter City along with Sun God. Good night, everyone.
Good night.